Hello and welcome to Phoenix, and welcome back to the long-awaited return of the Reebok Truck Series. Sorry, it's been a while, and I know, and I just couldn't find the time to record them, so I'm sorry for the long break. Either way, in a shocking turn of events, there was literally a tie for the pole in qualifying. You see the front row there, and the way the poles are decided is based on whoever's higher in points. So the pole sitter for this race is not going to be John Irvin, who comes into this race 30th in points. It will actually be Jessica Shelton in the 9, who comes into this race 14th in the points. Row 2 is William Duncan and Jay Stella. Row 3, Eric Powers, the guy who comes in this race 2nd in points, and Chris Washer. Alan Cavagnaro and Johnny Gardner make up row number 4, with Steve Pollard and Amanda Shelley in row 5. Here's the rest of your starting grid as I go through the points. Dylan Thoreau comes in as the points leader, and Eric Powers comes in second, 56 points back. The only other driver in the chase grid right now that is in on points as they run. Rest of the drivers behind them: Max Newirth with 4 wins, 57 points back of the points leader. Steve Pollard is 90 points back in 4th, and William Duncan comes in 5th, 101 points back. Rest of the top 10, James Shelley, Alex Perkle, Paul Swanson, and Amanda Shelley and Preston Plord.
Drivers, start your engines!
Worth noting, though, also Amanda Shelley without a win this season. She is the only other driver in this field who can actually still make this chase on points. Everyone else beyond that, if it stays with this many winners, they will have to get a win to make it included in that. Or actually, no, this series it's not like that. Sorry. There are a few other drivers, but most of the field, knowing now that in these final 2 races they need a win to be able to get in to the chase. The rest of the drivers in the top 30 with wins: Jay Stella, Sam Young, Seth Cole, a 3-time winner. Mason Powers has won a race. He's 22nd in points. Charles Jackson, Kato Nakagawa, and the aforementioned John Irvin with 2 wins sits 30th in the points. He starts outside pole. See the flagman there waving the red flag for pit lane. Pace truck is off, and we are underway from Phoenix. Jessica Sheldon with a good start. William Duncan into second. They're already 3 wide back here. Alan Cavagnaro carrying our Ford onboard gets out of it there. And Duncan underneath John Irvin for second. Stella and Washer battle for third. And the caution flag waves. Binky Louvier involved. And now we wait for the field to slow down. John Irvin came across the line in second. And looking towards the back. Looking good. 4 wide, but still looking good. Jeff James also appears to be involved. Kyle Collins and James Shelley, the 4 drivers possibly involved. Let's take a look back at what happened. And we're back. Here's what happened on lap number 1 of this race. You'll see they're pretty much a staggered 4 wide here. Kyle Collins, though, gets a little loose. Gets up into the 99. And the way the bumpers just kind of hooked there, James Shelley nowhere to go. Same is the case there for Binky Louvier, actually. And Trevor Germain actually kind of gets a piece of that in the 61 truck there. Hard to kind of tell. Let's take a look at the right side of his truck. Looks pretty good, and we'll go back to the green flag here. And we are back to the live action here. Lap number 5 on the board. The top 10, just as we left: Jessica Shelton, John Irvin, William Duncan, Chris Washer, Jay Stella, Eric Powers, Amanda Shelley, Alan Cavagnaro, Preston Plord, and Steve Pollard. Top 10, Johnny Gardner, Greg Jones, Mason Neal, Kyle Matthews, Charles Jackson, Mason Powers, Dylan Young, Dylan Thoreau, Tom Shelley, Alex Perkle, the top 20. Chris Louvier, Paul Swanson, Seth Cole, Jake Bassinger, Stephen Pollard III, Tim Grenwich, Zachary Fitzwater, Sam Young, Henry Powers, Zach Kreller, Max Newer, third in the points, right now runs 31st. Oriel Pollard, Sky Commons, Hiroshi Kazuyoshi, Koto Nakagawa, Jonathan Zorline, Matt Dixon, Trevor Germain, Jeff James, Kyle Collins, James Shelley, and Binky Louvier now. The field rundown. Don't believe. Yep, all 42 trucks still running. Pace truck is off, and we're back to racing at Phoenix, the land under the sun in the desert. Washer makes the move for third inside of Duncan. Washer, one of those looking for a win, but he's 38th in the points. Jay Stella got loose coming off turn number 2. Look at that back end. That was tail happy if ever I've seen it. Eric Powers looking for the points lead. Right now just needs a solid run. Currently running in 6th, plays on the outside now. Jay Stella inside of William Duncan now. And Eric Powers nearly gets into the 88 of Preston Plord. Duncan driving it in hard, but doesn't stick there for the 30, and the caution flag is out. Duncan, though, gets the run off the corner and will beat Jay Stella to the line. And we've had a huge wreck. Some people might hit each other right here. Binky Louvier with more damage. Looks like Oriel Pollard involved. Henry Powers, Zachary Fitzwire, Sam Young, Jake Bassinger, Zach Kreller, Stephen Pollard III, Kyle Collins again. Seth Cole is done. Kazuyoshi is on pit lane as well. A colossal wreck here in Phoenix. That's probably pretty well expected. Let's go ahead and take a look back at what happened. And we are back. Here's what happened to bring out the caution for the second time here today. You see there, Jake Bassinger gets into the 34, Seth Cole. Round goes Stephen Pollard III, and a huge hit there for Seth Cole. Oh, he actually takes out Jake Bassinger, the guy who turned him. I normally don't find wrecks comical, but that one was a little bit. There you see Jeff James. He's involved as well. His day's done. Binky Louvier, that's where she gets involved as well. Nowhere she really could have gone. But let's take a look back at the second wreck. The one that, unfortunately, Stephen Pollard III, wrong place, wrong time. Just gets collected in this one. Zachary Fitzwire right behind him. Tim Greenwich does a good job getting through this. There's Sam Young. He gets involved. Zach Kreller gets collected. Sky Commons tried to slide through. Doesn't quite get there. Kyle Collins gets into it as well. There's Kazuyoshi. Oriel Pollard involved as well. Just a lot of chaos down here on the back straightaway. Let's take a ride with James Shelley, see what he saw going through this. About to get back racing here on what will be lap number 12 of 32 in this race. Jessica Shelton still leads over John Irvin, Chris Washer, William Duncan. There you see Hiroshi Kazuyoshi is a lap down. That'll make things a little bit more interesting, maybe. I don't know. Jay Stella is running 5th. Amanda Shelley 6th. Alan Cavagnaro, Eric Powers, Preston Plord, Steve Pollard. I'm sorry, I get my Pollards mixed up every once in a while. Greg Jones runs in 11th. Johnny Gardner, Charles Jackson, Dylan Young, Kyle Matthews, Mason Neal, Dylan Thoreau, Tom Shelley, Chris Louvier, and Mason Powers, the top 20. Just kind of casually go through the rest of this here and let you see where you are running in the field. Drivers out of the race after the incident: Sky Commons, Seth Cole, and Jeff James, with Hiroshi Kazuyoshi 1 lap down. But the green flag is back out. We're underway once again. A lot of back end damage there on the 35. And Irvin's going to clear as well, I think. But now here comes the tricky part. Who gets held up behind? Washer clears the 35. Now Stella trying to get to the inside to open that door. William Duncan's going to get around, and they're going to be 4 wide. This ain't going to be good. This ain't going to be good. Oh, boy. Oh, we survived. They somehow survived that. I don't know how. We are still green flag racing here from Phoenix. I'm not really sure how, really, when they're 4 wide through turn 3. 3 wide here. Jay Stella, Eric Powers, Preston Plord. Throw Amanda Shelley into that mix as well there. Caution flag flies once again. And this is unfortunate. I tried turning down the AI strength to try and prevent that, and it's not going well. So caution flag flies once again. And let's see how they do it, kind of getting slowed down. Looks like pretty well. A look at the back of field. Looks like maybe Dylan Young, and judging by the skid marks, looks like turn 3, the place of the incident. Let's take a look back at what happened. And we are back. I'm not really surprised that this was the cause of the caution. Dylan Young gets stuck in behind the 35. Going to try and make a move to the inside. Problem is, Johnny Gardner was there. Tom Shelley also gets a piece of this. Gardner's going to get the outside wall there in the CSM Chevy. And Dylan Young does a pretty good job pancaking the driver's side into the wall. With that, let's go ahead and take you back to the green flag here. And we are back. Cross flags have been given underneath the caution, as we are now working lap 17 of 32. Jessica Shelton still leads as we've had a caution-filled race. John Irvin, Chris Washer, William Duncan, Eric Powers, Preston Plord, Jay Stella, Amanda Shelley, Greg Jones, and Steve Pollard, the top 10. Alan Cavagnaro, Charles Jackson, Kyle Matthews, Dylan Thoreau, Tom Shelley, Alex Perkle, Chris Louvier, Paul Swanson, Mason Powers, and Matt Dixon, the top 20. Mason Neal, Tim Greenwich, Jonathan Zorline, Max Newworth, Trevor Germain, Kato Nakagawa, Oriel Pollard, James Shelley, Zachary Fitzward, and Zach Kreller, the top 30. Henry Power, Stephen Paul III, Sam Young, Jake Bassinger, Johnny Gardner, Binky Louvier, Kyle Collins, and Dylan Young, the lead lap cars. And you see there, Hiroshi Kazuyoshi still runs in the 39th position, 1 lap down. Green flag's back out. We're underway. 17 laps complete. And just 15. I don't know how many to go. Crap. My math's failing me a little bit right now. Should be about 15 to go. Duncan, look out. Don't turn him. John Irvin got scared there a little bit. Almost got turned by William Duncan, and he was seeing his chase hopes possibly diminishing there in a heartbeat. A little bit contact with the 35 now for Irvin. Remember, 30th in the points coming in. And after a terrible restart, John Irvin back to 7th still, falling back as he's on the outside. Here's the new second place driver, though, after the restart. Chris Washer, now Eric Powers 3rd. It's going to be William Duncan 4th as Preston Plord way up the track. And John Irvin got back to the inside line, or whatever line, I guess. He's back into 9th. And now inside Jay Stella as he tries to work his way back up towards the front. Steve Pollard, Kyle Matthews both up the track as they'll use the outside line, try and get a run off the final turn here. Charles Jackson, Alex Perkle on the inside, just trying to hang in tough. Pollard thought he was cleared. Wisely thinks better of it. Spotter told him at the last second Jackson's still there, and Jackson gets the dive bomb to work through turns 1 and 2. And now you see Alan Cavagnaro also starting to get his way into the battle as the gap between the top two starting to close a little bit. There you see it right there. Power of the draft with the trucks here at Phoenix. Even at Phoenix, a track as short as this, the draft's still working. As Eric Powers can't seem to get to the inside of Chris Washer right now. And the two very similar paint scheme trucks here, the 30 and the 77. Right now running 4th and 5th. Amanda Shelley with a solid run inside top 5 right now. 9th in the points coming in, remember. And Greg Jones trying to get his way into the top 30 in points if he can get a good run. Currently sits 37th in the points coming in. Runs in the 7th spot. A good run for that 6 team if they can hold it here, and kind of shoves Preston Plord up out of the way. And Plord way up the track. Still going to help him off the turn here, though, as Amanda Shelley started to try and make the move for 4th underneath the 30 of William Duncan. Just trying to kind of save my voice here a little bit, I guess. I just look through the back of the field here a little bit, see if anything's going on. Well, there's a pass for the 8th position, possibly. Jay Stella trying to pass John Irvin. Irvin almost got the wall off turn number 4 and might even lose the spot to Charles Jackson as well. As Alex Perkle now runs 11th, Kyle Matthews 12th. And we look at the back of the pack where some of the drivers kind of fallen off a little bit. Some of these because of damage, and others I just don't know why. And we've got possible lap traffic if this race stays green. Kyle Collins just going into turn number 1 now. So too are the race leaders. So they could feasibly encounter Kyle Collins before the end of this. Collins a full second off the pace of the race leaders who are running 28 or times in the 28, the low 28s, 28.3 for the leader and 28.2 for second place. He just ran a 30.5. So now here's the problem for Washer. He has caught the leader, but the problem is now passing him. Catching Jessica Shelton is going to be one thing on this track. Passing her is going to be another. And Shelton trying to get her way into the chase if she can. No wins yet this season. And they will encounter the 45 of Kyle Collins. Down into turn number 1 they go. Collins going to block. And now Shelton going to lose a little bit of time there, but everyone else is going to kind of get around Collins. But that opens the door. Here comes Washer. He tried to peek his nose in there. It didn't quite work. And Shelley, who has gone around Duncan, now trying to fight off the 30. As there's just 3 laps to go, the next one that they would encounter would be Sam Young, and I highly doubt that's going to be a case. He's going into 3 now and a little bit more on pace than the 45. All the top 4 have yet to win this season. What a win could possibly mean. Well, other than maybe for the 0. If Chris Washer won, it really wouldn't mean much. He's 38th in the points. He'd still have to be top 30 in the next 2 races. And I don't know if he can do it. I haven't been following the math on that like I have in the Cup Series, at least. Where I've got color-coded a little bit on who can make it and who's not going to make it. Eric Powers, though, has Amanda Shelley all over his back bumper. Jessica Shelton able to pull a little bit of a gap. The white flag is out. 1 lap to go in the Nike 300 from Phoenix. And a solid 1 truck length lead as they go down the back straightaway. Greg Jones set the fastest lap of the race at a 27.993 at one point. But that doesn't matter. Jessica Shelton's going to be the one that goes flag to flag. She leads every lap at Phoenix. And third place goes to Eric Powers over Amanda Shelley. And John Irvin gets a much-needed top 10. And oh, what this means for the chase grid now, because we have 15 winners inside the top 30 in points as we go into Richmond. Worth mentioning this. The points leader is guaranteed the chase spot, regardless. Dylan Thoreau is the points leader with no wins. So, if he or Eric Powers hold the points lead going into Richmond, the bubble spot becomes Charles Jackson with a win. He's the lowest driver in, he or Kato Nakagawa, one or the other. Those are the two lowest drivers in points with a win that are in the top 30. We could be talking about a driver in the top 30 in points with a win, not making the chase because the points leader does not have a win. But regardless of that, top 10 here today: Jessica Shelton, Chris Washer, Eric Powers, Amanda Shelley, William Duncan, Preston Plord, Greg Jones, Charles Jackson got an 8th place finish, so it probably will be Kato Nakagawa that we're looking at as the bubble driver. Alex Perkle, John Irvin, the top 10. Kyle Matthews just missing out by a 10th of a second there of getting into the top 10. And a look at the bottom of the field as Dylan Young even finished a lap down at one, I guess. So I didn't see him go a lap down. Maybe he pit. I'm guessing that would be the only thing that I could think of why he would pit. By the way, I'd like to thank you for watching. If you enjoyed, please leave a like to show it. Like I said, thank you for watching. I'll see you next time. We've got 2 more races of this race weekend, and then we've got Richmond for the final race before the chase.